Hi guys, I'm demonstrating the sort function in Excel in this video. So here is our Excel data. It is the name of the city, it's the shipping date and the profit. So we are talking about orders which are being shipped and based on the cities and on the date, and they are making obviously a profit from those shipments. So we have all that data. Now we are going to sort this data first on the basis of city. Then we are going to sort on the basis of shipping date, and then we are going to sort on the basis of profit. Okay. So what we are going to do is that using the appropriate command option, we are going to sort this list by city, and we are going to sort city based from A to Z, that is in the ascending order. Then we are going to sort it by shipping date, and we are going to sort it from oldest date to newest date. And then finally, we are going to sort from profit, largest to smallest. So let me show you how to do it. Now you go into the data tab and you go into sort function. Here you have the sort function. So you click on sort. Okay, we need to first select the range. So I'm going to select this entire sheet where there is data. Okay, I've selected all the data in this particular 3 columns. And now I will click on sort. Now I'm going to do this. Basically, you can add levels. So I'm going to add the first level by clicking on this plus. Now I'm using a MacBook. The commands in your Windows, Microsoft Excel are going to be similar. So when I click on this column, it is asking me by what. So I'm first going to say city, and I am going to say A to Z, and then I'm going to add a level. And now I'm saying I want it to be sorted on the basis of shipping date, and I want it oldest to the newest. By default, it is newest to the oldest, but I'm going to change that to oldest to the newest. And then finally, I'm going to add one more level, and the column is going to be profit. And I want this from largest to smallest. So instead of smallest to largest, I'm going to change that to largest to smallest. And then I'm going to say, okay. Now see, the data has sorted first alphabetically for the city. So you get all Alexandrias together. Then we said we are going to sort it by shipping date. Now shipping date is the oldest date. So 2011 will first come first, oldest to newest. So if you see for Alexandria, you have shipping dates from 2011 to 2012 to 2014. So this is the newest, and we have sorted it from oldest to newest. Now just check for this particular date. This is the same date, right? It is April 9th, 2011. And now it is sorting the profit from largest to smallest. So 91, 90, 83.281. Now the shipping date is oldest to newest. So this is April 9th. Now this is April 8th, oldest to newest. So on 8th April, there were 3 transactions on 8th of April 2012. And you see the data has been again sorted from, the profit has been sorted on the basis of largest to smallest. This is how we use the sort function. All right. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Now I've created a practice sheet over here. Practice this. First sort on the basis of city, A to Z, then shipping date, oldest to newest, and profit, largest to smallest. Practice this. All right, guys. Bye for now.
Goodwill Community Foundation, creating opportunities for a better life.
When you have a lot of different rows in your spreadsheet, you may want to sort the data so you can view it more easily. Sorting can reorder things alphabetically, numerically, by date, or even in a custom order that you choose. Depending on your preference, you can either sort from the Home tab using the Sort and Filter drop-down menu, or you can use the commands in the Data tab. In this example, I have a worksheet with a list of t-shirt orders, and I'd like to sort it alphabetically by last name. Just click any cell in the column you want to sort, and then click the Ascending command. That's the one that says A to Z. You'll notice that when we sort one column, Excel also reorders the other columns so that each row still has the correct information. If we wanted these in reverse order, we could click the Descending command. That's the one that says Z to A. Now, this method doesn't always work if your spreadsheet has an unusual layout. Watch what happens when I try to sort the data here on the right. See how the header row is included in the sort by mistake? In a situation like this, you might need to manually select the cells you want, instead of relying on Excel to do it for you. This is called sorting a cell range. Select the cell range you want to sort, including the header row if you have one. Then, click the Sort command, and a dialog box will appear. And first you'll want to check the box that says My Data Has Headers. Then, use the drop-down menu on the left to choose the column you want to sort by, then select a sorting order. In this example, we'll choose largest to smallest. When you're done, click OK, and the range will be sorted by the selected column. Notice that the rest of the worksheet wasn't affected by our sort. Now, sometimes the default sorting options won't work for what you have in mind. For example, if we sort the columns that contain the t-shirt sizes in ascending order, the order will be large, medium, small, then extra large, because the column is being sorted alphabetically. You know, it would be better if the sizes were listed in a more logical order. In other words, small, medium, large, then extra large. For this, we'll need to create a custom sort. To begin, click the Sort command, and on the right, you can see that it's ordering the column from A to Z. If we click this drop-down menu and select Custom List, we can enter the t-shirt sizes in the order we want. So I'll click in the box and start typing. Small, medium, large, and extra large, and I'm pressing enter after each one. When you're done with your list, click the Add button, and make sure that your list is selected over here on the left. Then click OK to confirm, and OK again. And now the worksheet is sorted the way we want. The only problem with this is that every other column is completely out of order. What I would really like is if the homeroom numbers were organized within each t-shirt size. I can do this by sorting by multiple levels. This will let us sort first by t-shirt size and then by homeroom. Click the Sort command and you'll notice the different options at the top of the dialog box. You can add a level to the sort, delete a level, or even use the arrows to change the level order. In this example, we want to add a level. Now we just have to select the homeroom column, and we'll leave the other two fields the way they are, sorting the values from smallest to largest. And when you click OK, you'll see that within each t-shirt size, the homeroom numbers are listed in numerical order. As you can see, there are a lot of different ways of sorting your data, depending on how you want to organize it. So take some time to experiment with the different options and find the ones that best suit your needs.
Hi guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to do number filters. So the question is turn on filters for all the data columns. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to select this entire range, okay, and then I am going to go to data and filter. So now the filters are turned on for all the data columns. Now using number filters for both with order items of greater than 6 items. So what we're saying is that the order item column over here, now if it is more than 6, then it should be filtered. And a profit of dollar thousands or more. So similarly for profit also, we want to only find out rows that has a profit of dollar thousand or more. So we are going to apply filters to these two columns and we're going to display the data for that. Now understand, your filters should account for the possibility for any future items that may be added. So right now I'm seeing that in my data set I have 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But what if I have 10 items? What if I have got 11 items? So if I do click on this and I say, okay, I want anything more than 6. So I will deselect all and I'll say 6, 7, 8, 9. And if I filter it this way, it will give me all the rows that has order items more than 6. But it does not account for the possibility that I may add more items, I may add more values to this particular column in future. So in order for me to do that, I have to use the number filter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this, okay, cancel. So I click on this and then I click on number filters and I say greater than, and I say 6, which means anything more than 6. And even if I add tomorrow 10, 11, 12, it will all display, it will consider all those columns. Okay. And okay, now first order items greater than 7 I wanted, and now in that I want to also add a number filter to this, and I'm going to say greater than 1000. So now all the orders with order items more than 6 have been picked up. And not only that, it has also enforced the second condition that the profit should also be more than $1,000. So if there were any rows that had 6 in it, it has not picked up because the profit of that particular row may have been less than $1,000. So it has picked up everything which is greater than or equal to $1,000. Okay. So this is how you do the number filters. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Now you have to do a practice. All right. So I am going to upload this file and this PowerPoint presentation, and I'm going to remove all the filters that I've shown you how to do it, and then you will practice on this particular data set. So I am going to remove, the filters. All right. I hope you have enjoyed the video. Do the practice and we will go to the next question.
Goodwill Community Foundation, creating opportunities for a better life.
Filtering is a great feature of Excel that gives you a lot of control over which parts of your spreadsheet are displayed. You can use it to show only the information you need, or find something specific, while hiding the rest of the data temporarily. Now, it is important that you have a header row because the filtering tools will actually get added to the cells in this header row. In this example, I have an equipment checkout log, and there are a lot of things to keep track of, so I'd like to use some filters to simplify it. First, go to the Data tab and click the Filter command, and you'll see these drop-down arrows are now added to your header row. These are what you'll use to access all of the filtering options. Here, you'll see a list of all the different values that appear in this column. I'd like to just view the laptops and projectors, so I'll uncheck this box to quickly deselect everything, then check Laptop and Projector. Click OK, and now the drop-down arrow has been changed to a different icon to show that there is a filter applied to this column. We can narrow down this data even further by adding another filter to a different column. Let's filter by the date that the items were checked out. This shows all the months that appear in this column, so I'll uncheck the months that I don't want, then click OK. To get rid of any filter, just click the icon again and select Clear Filter. And I'm going to go ahead and clear this other filter that I applied earlier. So that's how you do simple filtering. Now let's take a look at some more advanced techniques. Using the same menu, you can also search for values that appear in this column. For example, a lot of our equipment is made by a company named Ceres. If we type that here, Excel will look for a match anywhere in this column and then list only those results below. To apply the filter, just click OK. For a little more control, you can use text filters instead. You'll access these from the same menu under Text Filters. Here you can filter information that fits more specific criteria. For example, cells that contain a certain number of characters or data that doesn't contain a word. In this example, we're going to choose does not contain and then enter laptop to exclude anything that contains this word, including laptops and laptop travel bags. Click OK, and Excel will refilter the data. Next, let's say that I only want to show items where the ID number is between 3000 and 6000. I can click the drop-down arrow and go to Number Filters. And there are a lot of different options here, but for what I need, I'm going to choose Between. Now I can type whatever values I want for these two fields. So this filter will show things that are greater than or equal to 3000 and less than or equal to 6000. Click OK, and now all of these values are between 3000 and 6000. Date filters are really cool because they can display data from a certain time period, such as last week, last year, between two dates, and so on. In this example, I'd like to find out which items were checked out between July 15th and August 15th. I'll select Between, and then in the dialog box that appears, I'll use this calendar icon to select July 15th and August 15th. Then click OK. And at this point, we have 3 different filters applied to our worksheet. So it's filtering out most of the items and just showing the ones that meet all of the criteria. If you'd like to remove the filters, you can clear them one by one like we showed you before. You can click the Clear command in the Sort and Filter group to clear all active filters, or you can turn off filtering altogether. Just click the Filter command to do this. As you can see, filtering can narrow things down really quickly, which will help you find the data you need. And because it includes so many different options, we bet you'll be able to use it with just about any spreadsheet.
Now I want you to look at this data, okay? This data talks to you about, the first is a package number. In the first column, you have data on the package number. Then in the second column, you have the data about the departure point. You have destination, you have package price, you have departure date, trip length, and trip type. So basically, this is a data set that talks about the different packages of these trips. So there are different types of trips. You have Fisherman's Choice, you have Hunter's Choice, you have Salmon Adventure, and you have Big Game Adventure. Now, if you look at the Fisherman's, just look at Big Game Adventure data. So what does this Big Game Adventure data tell you? It's, first of all, it's a big game adventure.
The departure point is from Chicago to Kodiak. The departure date is 06/16/21, 2021. Now the second trip, again from Chicago to Kodiak, the departure date is 17th June 2021. Okay, and this is a big game adventure type. Now if you look at the fisherman's choice, what does this data tells you? So if it is this fisherman's choice trip, then the departure, there are different departure points, there are different departure dates, and each of this trip has got its own package price. So if you're traveling from Chicago to Lake Clark for fisherman's choice trip on 2nd June 21, you're going to pay 2399. If you are going again from Chicago to Lake Clark on 9th June, you're going to pay 2499. Okay. Similarly, but the trip length on 2nd June is 7 days. The trip length for 9th June is 8 days. So for fisherman's choice, you have different dates, departure dates. You have got different departure points, that is starting point and destination point. And accordingly, you have this package price. Now, if you want to have a summary, if you want to know that what is the total price package for fisherman's choice, okay, you need to calculate. So for example, if I'm doing this fisherman's choice, and if I'm saying that I just need to know the total overall cost of the package prices for fishermen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sum this. Okay, and if you see, it is sum is 21,410. But the average is 2141, right? Now, if I want to do for big game adventure, okay, for big game adventure, let's see how much is the sum. The sum is 4998. Big game adventure total package price is 4998, but the average of big game adventure is again 2499, right? Now similarly, if I want to have information about halibut adventure, what do I have to do? I have to first, maybe in this cell, I have to say is equal to sum of, and then do this, and I'll probably get that figure. And I will have to do it each and every time like this. I will have to make individual calculations. Now, what if I want for fisherman's choice, I want to know the total package price of only Lake Clark destination. So I say for fisherman's choice, and then I filter it out. Here I say I just want to know the Lake Clark information, and then I do this, and I get that the sum is 5997, and the average of the fisherman's choice for Lake Clark destination is $1999. This is tedious, right? You have to keep on doing all these different calculations. You have to apply filters to different columns, and then you have to actually do the sum and the average to have some sort of a intelligent information, and then you need to put it into a table. So then you say, okay, for trip type big adventure, the sum is 4998, the average is 2499. For fisherman's choice, the sum is so and so, the average is so and so. And if you want further drilling of the information, for example, for fisherman's choice, for Kodiak destination, there is no Kodiak destination. But for Lake Clark, the average is 2140. For Cooper Landing, the average is 2046. For Seward, the average package price is 2321. But then I will have to literally go and filter first this on the basis of fisherman's choice. And then for every destination, I will have to filter it and then make this manual calculations, filter it, and make these manual calculations. Now, if I want to avoid doing all this, I want to have information which the Excel can do in 1 second, and I will get all this information in the format that I want. So for example, if I want the averages of all the trip types based on the locations, there is a way I can do it with a single click. And that is what the pivot tables will help you to do that. So I'm going to first open up this data, and then I'm also going to open up this data. Okay, now what I do is I select the entire range of this data, right? And then I click on insert, and then I say pivot table. Now it will take me to it will tell me, do you want to create the data into a new worksheet? And I say yes. So now a pivot table is created, and I have all these parameters on the right hand side. Now let's go back to our original data, and we say that, hey, I want in my rows, I want a trip type. I want to know the sum of package prices based on the trip types. Now here I am just saying that I want to know what is the sum. So this column. Now understand that this is the actual dollar value. Whenever you create a pivot table, what goes, I am going to zoom this. No, I cannot zoom this. Let me do it this way. Okay, I think this will have more clarity. Now, okay, so let me just delete this. Delete. Okay. Now I have these pivot table fields, right? But in the rows, if I go to how I want the information, I want the information in such a way that my trip types are in the rows. Okay. So I am going to go to my pivot sheet, and I say trip type, and it is automatically picked up in the rows section. But I can change this. I can just drag it to the column section also, and then it will go in the column. But right now I want to keep it back in the rows. So I'm going to keep it back in the rows. Now, what do I want in the values? This is a dollar value. So here, if you go, I want to know for big game adventure, in this value, I should only have the sum of the total package prices. Okay, so if I want that information, what I'm going to do is in this value, I'm going to click on package price, and that goes over here. Okay, now it is sum of package price. So if you see my pivot table, based on the big game adventure, I got 4998 Fisherman's Choice, 2140 Halibut Adventure, 5997. But if I had to do this manually, what would I have had to do? I would have had to put a filter for each of these trip types, say big adventure, and then manually calculate what is the sum, what is the average. Then if I want to do if I want to know the information about Fisherman's Choice, I would have to manually put a filter on the strip type, and then do the summation of this, or do the computation of computing averages or sums. Now by pivot table, when I just did this, okay, I got the sum of package price, and it is reflecting. Okay, what happened? It is reflecting. But if I want the information like this, that for the trip types, okay, for different destinations. So I want the columns in different destinations. So the destinations, the different destinations should go in columns. And then in this cell, I want to know what is the average, or I want to know what is the sum. So what I'm going to do is, in my pivot table, I am going to take the destination and I am going to drag the destination to columns. Now see what happens. It has given me the sums. For Big Game Adventure, the sum is 4998, but also from this table, I know that the Big Game Adventure, the destination is only for Kodiak. For Fisherman's Choice, I have a choice of either going to Cooper Landing, I have a choice of either going to Dillingham, Lake Clerk, Severed. I have a choice. But again, this is sum. This is not an average price. But if I want to know for Fisherman's Choice, what is the average of package price in Cooper Landing, then how do I get that? For that, I click on this value, and then here I have value field settings. I click on that, and I don't say sum, I say average. And I say okay. And then now I have averages. If you go to my original data, and if I do Fisherman's Choice, and if I say I just want of, say, Dillingham, let's say I just want for Cooper Landing, then I have three trips for Cooper Landing, and the package price, the sum is 5807, the average is 1936. Let's go and see. See, it's Fisherman's Choice for Cooper Landing. The average is 1936. Fisherman's Choice for Cooper Landing, 1935.666. You get the average. So this way, the pivot table is so very useful for you to get information from just raw data that you have. Here, this is raw data. This is raw data. This is entire raw data. Doesn't make any sense. But from my pivot table, now I'm able to make some sense. I can say that, oh, my Big Game Adventure only is in Kodiak, and the sum is 2499. Or maybe an average trip may cost 2499. For Fisherman's Choice, an average trip in Cooper Landing may cost $1935. In Dillingham, the average price of a trip to the Fisherman's Choice trip is 2359, and so on and so forth. So I hope now pivot table makes some sense to you, and you should be able to do the question on pivot table on your exam too. Remember, if you have asked, if they ask you to calculate sum, you have to keep this, you have to still go here and do value field settings and turn it to sum. If the question asks you to compute the averages, then go here, do value field settings and say averages. And this is how you will do your question on pivot table. I hope this clears all your questions and all your doubts about the pivot table question.
This lesson is on pivot tables. So pivot tables automatically summarize your data for you, so you can slice and dice it in a million different ways. So you can forget about creating lots of summary calculations. You don't need them. You can let Excel do the work for you. So we're looking at our order sheet here in our sample file. The first thing that we might want to do is take a look at what we might be interested in knowing, how we might want to summarize this data. An example is we might want to know sales or quantity by product number. Now what we can do is we can go over to the Insert tab and click either the blank pivot table option or recommended pivot tables. We'll start with recommended pivot tables just so you can see what that looks like. So what Excel does in the pop-up that appears is give you a few different options for how you might want to summarize the data. So this is an example, sum of unit price by product number. We might not be as interested in that. Here's another one, sum of total costs by order category. That's a little more useful. But what we want to do is actually start with a blank pivot table so you can see how to do that. So we'll go back to the Insert tab and click on Pivot Table. A pop-up appears that basically asks us if we want to insert this into a new worksheet or an existing worksheet. We'll just click OK. And then this is what appears, a new sheet. And then what you'll see on the left-hand side, which is highlighted here, your blank pivot table space. And then what you'll see on the right-hand side is your list of fields in the original table. And then areas on your pivot table. So you've got filters, columns, rows, and values. So to see how this works, the first thing that we'll want to do, or we can try to do, is just select or check the total costs button. And what this is going to do is move that total costs field over to the values area. And in our pivot table, you can see that all it's doing is just summing all of the total costs in the previous sheet. Now, to add some dimension to our pivot table, what we may want to do is let's actually take the order category and we're going to move that to rows. So what this is going to do now is put the order categories in the rows and tell us how many costs or how many sales we have for each of those order categories. So it's just a way to slice that data up for us. We're not actually summarizing order category, we're just using that to break up our sales. We can also move it over to columns too. It just kind of depends on how you visually like to see it. What we're going to do now is uncheck order category, and maybe we want to see costs by product number. So we'll drag product number down to the rows, and now what we'll see is it's taken that total cost column and broken up those costs by product number. Okay, what we're going to do now is just clear our table. We'll start fresh, and we're going to take a look at quantity now. So we can check quantity. That's going to move it over to the values field. And what it's going to do now is sum all of the quantity that we've sold. We can take our product number, drag that down to the rows, and now what it's going to do is tell us the quantity that we've sold by product number, because we've got product number in the rows and our quantity is in the value section. Okay, one thing that we can do too is add an additional field into our rows area. And we'll put order category right before the product number. And what this is going to do now is group or separate our quantity sold by the order category and then by the product. Just another way, again, to slice up our data. And you can actually add as many fields as you want to that row area, and it'll just continue to break out those slices. What we could also do too is move over that order category to the columns. So we've got our product numbers in the rows and our order categories in the columns. So this will tell us not only by product number, but also by order category how many we've sold. What I think is helpful is if you just start moving things around, dragging and dropping to see how it looks in different ways. We can also move order category over to the filters section. So this allows us to filter our quantity sold by order category. So we'll just select multiple items, uncheck everything, and then we want to take a look maybe at small and normal orders. So this will filter down all of our quantity sold by small and normal orders, and then by product numbers in those rows. So you can start to see how many different ways there are to start exploring your data. Okay, so we're actually going to put order category back into the rows so you can see quantity sold by order category and then by product. And we're actually going to change our headers here just to make it a little bit easier for folks to read. So we change it to quantity sold on the right. And then we'll change this to products on the left. Just so when folks read this, they can make sense of it. What we can do also is go to the Design tab, and it gives us different options to format our pivot table. So it makes it a little bit easier to read. And so we'll try this option here. It pretties it up for us. And another thing that we can do is we can right-click the values and then sort it by largest to smallest. So we might want to see within each order category, we might want to easily see which ones were the top 3 sold and which ones were the bottom 3. By sorting it, it makes it easier for folks to interpret it.